Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Newscast, where I go over the top news of the last week in retro handhelds, retro gaming, and just gaming in general. I didn't know where to put this news, so we're going to put it right at the beginning. This comes from longtime commenter Matt Davis, who shared that the Raspberry Pi company will be going public in June. Now, I am in no way qualified for this one. I don't buy a lot of Raspberry Pi products. I've never really used them. I think I did it once, and it was like the Raspberry 2 Plus or something. It's not for me. But for those of you that it will be for, going public is probably not going to be a good thing for it. I guess we'll wait and see what happens. I can't recall any good stories of a company going public and the product getting better. I think we might have to just wait for a Raspberry Pi 2 company to exist, and then the cycle begins all over again. KNULLI is now available for the TrimUI Smart Pro, and for those that don't remember KNULLI, it is a Batocera fork, and it's now available for the TrimUI Smart Pro, and it was available last week for the RG28XX. So if you've been itching for a custom firmware for the TrimUI Smart Pro, then this might be the one for you. Just keep in mind there's a few known issues. The volume controls have issues, the volume overlay doesn't work, ADB doesn't work, which shouldn't really affect a lot of you, and PPSSPP standalone's menu doesn't work, so just keep that in mind. There's likely a few other things that just aren't reported here and don't work, but just keep in mind that this is like a alpha sort of build just because it's the first build, and I haven't tested it yet, but I'm going to imagine that there's probably going to be a lot of kinks that need to be worked out. Either way, if you're interested in a Batocera type fork, then this might be the one for you to check out. The Odin 2 got an over-the-air update the other day, and it came with a much needed fix, which was the volume. Basically, for those that don't know, the volume on the lowest setting was basically like you were setting it to 50% or higher. So you couldn't have low volume and play it. And that was a little frustrating. So thankfully, this is fixed now. I've even tested it. Sounds great. Not sure if this is adding any other issues, because that's what's usually been happening lately. But either way, good to see that it's fixed, and excited for the new Odin in a few weeks. Jumping into device news now, and I've said this before, but I usually don't like putting rumors or leaks and things like that into the newscast if it's not confirmed, because then it's just speculation and I don't know. But we don't have a lot to talk about this week, so I'm throwing this in. Basically, there's a lot of rumors that Sony has a new handheld coming that's apparently going to be playing PlayStation 4 games. And also, it'll apparently play some PS5 games in some sort of boost mode. There's not a lot of information out there. I'm just going off of a few different articles that I've read. The general idea is it seems to be that there's going to be some sort of handheld coming, and it's supposed to do PS4 and maybe PS5. And I don't know if that's it or what else and things like that. Now, given their track record of supporting handhelds, I have to wonder how many people will still be excited about this, even though I got to imagine there's a lot of people that will be. But if you've been burned by their previous handhelds, you probably aren't that hyped for a new Sony handheld. And unless they show that they're going to support it, I'm kind of feeling the same way on that. Now, as far as if I think that Sony actually is making a handheld, the answer is 100%. They are not going to let Microsoft, Nintendo, Valve, Asus, and all of these companies just tackle the mobile market like that, or handheld market, and not come up with something. So I have to imagine there will be something, and whatever form it takes, we'll see. But definitely, there's going to be something coming. Ayaneo is in the news twice this week, and there's two different devices that they showed off. We'll talk about the first one now. This is called the Pocket Micro, and we talked about it a little bit last week because there was speculation about what it would be and all of that, and turns out I was right. They are using the same 3.5-inch, 3:2 aspect ratio, 960 by 640 screen that was on the bottom of the Flip DS. For those counting at home, that means that's a 4x upscale for Game Boy Advance games, which is great. Now, they've made some other interesting decisions. This is going to be using the G99 processor, which, for those that don't know, it's kind of in the Retro Pocket 4 base and RG556 area for performance. There's no pricing or release date yet that I found, but I'm very much expecting a low $200 for this. If you look at it, the G99 processor, the screen, all of it, it very much combines into a $200 price point. So we'll see what it actually comes out to. I have to say that I'm actually kind of interested in this. I can look at it as a analog pocket for Game Boy Advance games, if that's the best way to do so. It looks very premium, it has the right screen for Game Boy Advance and all of that. It's probably going to be niche at that price point to just really play Game Boy Advance, although it has the power with the G99 to do some GameCube and PS2 and all that sort of thing. But how much are you going to do on a 3.5-inch screen? A lot of people complained about the Retroid Pocket 2S and the small screen. So I have to imagine for a lot of people, they're going to consider this as just a Game Boy Advance device and maybe a few others. And I'm kind of in that camp, so we'll see what it looks like. Now, speaking of pricey things, we have the Ayaneo Pocket DMG, which is the next model that they were releasing, and this one is a vertical. The look is very much analog pocket styled, but it's very much different internally. This has a 3.92-inch OLED 1240 by 1080 screen. Yeah, that's kind of absurd for vertical, but hold on, it gets better. The processor is actually a Snapdragon G3X Gen 2, which is the same one that they're using in the Pocket S. There's a weirdly located left stick on the bottom left, and apparently that whole rectangle around it is a trackpad, so you can use it as like a touch pad sort of thing. That actually makes me wonder if this is a touchscreen or not, and I don't know if I saw a confirmation that it is or isn't, but I have to imagine it probably isn't. Honestly, on the design-wise, if you remove the stick and the trackpad, I think it looks fantastic, but we don't live in that world, and so with that, it doesn't look too good to me, but I'm actually very interested in this. I'm curious to see what they do here, how it comes out, and everything. It looks interesting, let's put it that way, but pricing-wise, we are definitely going to be looking at something remotely close to the Pocket S, maybe $50 or so less, so 350 range, 400 range, I don't know, it's hard to tell, but you're using a lot of the same parts, the chip, the OLED screen, which is new but still expensive, all of that sort of thing, so we'll see. Now, in case you missed it, the Odin 2 Mini is up for pre-order and it'll be shipping in late June. I think it's June 22nd, if I remember correctly, so just keep that in mind. There was a few coupon codes that were available at launch, and those are all gone. The only one left is the $10 off coupon, and it's Odin 2 Mini 10 is the coupon code. I'll leave a link in the description to the link and the coupon code in case you're interested in ordering. You also get a free bag and screen protector if you pre-order before June 22nd, so there's some incentive there. Now, I've been told that my review unit will be arriving next week, so we should be able to get some hands-on impressions way before the date of shipping. So if you're worried about ordering it and not being able to cancel, you have plenty of time. So don't worry about that. Personally, I actually ordered the white Pro model, just in case they send me the black Pro model or whatever they send me, because I really, really want that white model. So that's coming to me on launch at that point. So I'll be part of the group of people shipping it, just like you guys, whoever ordered one. But my review unit will be coming soon. Now, if you've been hankering for a real-world look at the device, AYN put out a video of them playing Genshin Impact, which performance-wise we already know because of the Odin 2, but it gives you a good look into what the actual handheld looks like in a real person's hands. It also gives you a good look at the screen, and the screen looks pretty good, but it's hard to tell how much of it is camera, how much of it is the actual screen, and all of that sort of thing. So I'm just going to wait for mine to come next week. If my videos have been helping you, consider supporting me on Patreon, or just give this video a like and a sub. Either or both help my channel grow. And also, we have a Discord now, so come join us on the Discord and talk about everything, like how I say and all that sort of thing, a lot. Ghost of Tsushima just became the biggest selling PlayStation debut for a single-player game on Steam, which beats out God of War, the previous one, and that is actually very interesting because I would have thought that God of War was a lot more popular than Ghost of Tsushima. But both are actually really good ports of the game, and Ghost of Tsushima specifically is actually a really good port. I was playing it the other day. Performance-wise, it was playing really well, had a lot of options. I was really happy with it. Personally, I've been waiting for a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. I played it and beat it a long time ago, and so I'm waiting because that game was great. And so this is good because a lot more people can experience it. Look, I am very much not a Kingdom Hearts guy, but Kingdom Hearts, apparently the whole series, but I don't know. There's a lot of those games, so I'm going to assume the whole series is coming to Steam. So if you've been interested in Kingdom Hearts and you haven't been able to play it for whatever reason, looks like it's all coming to Steam and achievements and all that sort of thing. So you can now buy the whole bundle. The date is June 13th, and now everybody can experience the craziness that is the Kingdom Hearts story, from what I'm told. In worst news of the week, IGN is acquiring Eurogamer, GamesIndustry.biz, VG247, Rock Paper Shotgun, and a bunch more in some big consolidation of news outlets, essentially. I don't think this is going to be great for gaming as a whole because you now have one company in charge of a lot of the different news outlets that did reviews and stories and all of that. Plus, I'm guessing they're probably going to consolidate a lot and a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. It's such a crappy thing because now we have monopolies on the publisher end and now monopolies on the news outlet end. So, last news of the day, there has been a lot of rumblings that Call of Duty, or this year's Call of Duty, will be coming to Game Pass on day one, which would be super interesting if true. They spent $69 billion on acquiring Activision Blizzard. And throwing it on Game Pass, as much as that is fantastic for me as a consumer and a Game Pass subscriber, might not be the way to get back all that money. But as somebody who has a Game Pass subscription, I'm welcoming this completely because I used to spend the money to buy it every year. And if I don't have to anymore, then sure, give it to me. I'll take that free game. Why not? But it'll be interesting to see how this does long term because there's been a lot that's been coming out about Microsoft lately and how they aren't really doing that well. And I'm not sure this is going to help them, but we'll see. By the way, did I miss a topic that you want to hear discussed? Like Matt Davis earlier on, leave a comment with the words newscast topic of something that you want to hear me discuss, and I'll do it on next week's show. That's all from me, Perth.